So when we are dealing with combined uncertainties, we have learned that when we have an addition or subtraction of two measurements, so for example we might have A plus minus a standard uncertainty of U1 and B plus minus standard uncertainty of U2. When we want to add or subtract them, let's subtract them, we would get A minus B, so that's the measurand, plus minus the combined uncertainty, and the combined uncertainty would be given as the square root of U1 squared plus U2 squared, and in this case both our uncertainties would be the absolute uncertainties. So that's for addition and subtraction. Please note, even if we do a subtraction, we have this plus sign here under the square root. For the multiplication and division, so again we might have A plus minus U1 and B plus minus U2. And if we want to do a division, for example, we would do A over B, that's the measurand, plus minus our combined uncertainty. And again, the combined uncertainty would be the square root of U1 squared plus U2 squared. But in this case here, the uncertainties are the relative uncertainties. Relative uncertainties. And that's really important. So the relative uncertainties would be in percent, and here the absolute uncertainties would be in the appropriate units. And here we would get this uncertainty also again in percentage. So that is what we already know. But what if we have a more complex situation? Let's say we have A plus minus its uncertainty U1, we've got B plus minus its uncertainty U2, and we've got a third measurand plus minus U3, and we want to calculate a variable, let's call that large X, equals, let's say, A minus B divided by C. So in a way we can very easily do that because we just do this calculation with our A, B and C. But what happens with our uncertainties? Plus minus, and we really want to have a combined uncertainty. And I call it combined of combined because we have a combination of different uncertainties, combined uncertainties. So the way we deal with that is we would say, okay, from mathematical point of view, we have actually the case of a division. We divide the outcome of A minus B, we divide it by C. So ultimately we have a division, and one of the components, one of the factors is addition subtraction. So division of addition subtraction case. So what we do is we calculate the combined uncertainty for A minus B. So A minus B plus minus the combined uncertainty for these two. So combined uncertainty A minus B. And we know what this is. We just simply use the absolute uncertainties. So we would say UC A minus B equals the square root of U1 squared plus U2 squared. That is our combined uncertainty for A minus B. So that's this one. And now how are we going to deal with the division? Well, we just simply say we've got something here, and that is, let's call that a new variable. Let's call this the difference. Let's call this D. So we have D plus minus this UC A minus B. And what we now can do is we can say, right, we do the division. So we have D over C plus minus the combined uncertainty, like that. And we know how we can deal with that. We can say UCC, that is the uncertainty for this division, is the square root of our UC A minus B, that's this guy here, but squared actually, but this is the relative uncertainty. So we can't really use that straight away. We have to calculate the relative uncertainty, and we know how we do that. So this relative uncertainty would be UC A minus B divided by D times 100. So that's the relative uncertainty plus the relative uncertainty for our factor C, and that is this U3 also squared. So what we are doing here is, when we have these different uncertainties, we break it down. First we do the subtraction. Here calculate the uncertainty for the subtraction with the absolute uncertainties, so this one here. So then we treat the whole thing as a division, and we have our uncertainty here, but we need to convert this one here into a relative uncertainty. That's this one here. We know how to do that. And then use the combined uncertainties, relative uncertainties for this uncertainty and for our U3 for this uncertainty here. And that is also, and I should probably make this clear, this is also a relative uncertainty. So our combined uncertainty here again would be a relative uncertainty, which is given in percent.